the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, November 17th to order. Number 2, roll call, starting my left.
Connie here.
Winter here. Asbill here. Roman here. And Mr. Carhide is somewhere in trivia. Number 3, certified posting of the meeting, please.
I certify that on Monday, November 14th, 2022, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, November 17th, 2022 was emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 9:22 a.m., posted at Rome Town Hall at 9:40 a.m., at Quick Trip LLC, 10:05 a.m., and at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 9:55 a.m.
Thank you. Number 4, approve the agenda, please.
Motion to approve is printed.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried. Number 5, please stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 6, citizen comments. Any turned in?
No.
No action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Number 7, information updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Lori, do you have any?
Yes, I have a few things. There's a memo I typed up that I'd like to share with all of you. And then it's regarding someone that actually stopped, do you mind if I pass this down? I'll just read out really quick. It was actually from a gentleman that stopped Supervisor Minter and myself on the way out of the last meeting. It's regarding the multi-metro deer management group up in Wisconsin Rapids. After the November 3rd, 2022 meeting, Supervisor Minter and myself were intercepted by Rich LeCount while exiting the town hall. You may recognize his name. His wife Rebecca owns Slice of Heaven Bakery in the Rome Town Center. He shared information regarding the multi-metro deer management group in the Wisconsin Rapids area that aids with excessive deer herds in densely populated areas. MMDM are skilled hunters, primarily bow hunters, that work closely with the DNR. The deer cultivated are tested for chronic wasting disease and certified for distribution to veterans, charities, and others in need. Rich was in attendance that evening and believes that MMDM can deal with the immediate concerns of excessive deer in the town's densely populated areas that have recently been brought to our board's attention. I found some dated information online, but they are still successful at rounding up many deer. Some of their counts have been 773 deer with 30,920 pounds of meat donated to area families. New members are always welcome to join from the general public, and I have their hunt coordinator's name at the bottom as well as Rich LeCount's. And we thought we'd share this information this evening in addition to what others are looking to do, other board members were looking to do with the Madison group, that maybe they could take care of the immediate need with the large population over on the peninsula, as well as the one that was brought to our attention with Sherwood Forest, that maybe this group could help them take care of that population right away. So I just typed this up really quick because I came across it in my notebook as I was going over things. And then I thought we'd have this on record and we could maybe possibly go ahead and coordinate with them. Because they work very closely that they can do this very quickly. They're certified, they're tested, and they can get the meat distributed to families in need. Thank you.
You got some work?
Pardon?
Jamie's got some work. Dan?
But just a couple of things from the Lester Library. There is a craft project this weekend from 10 until noon, where you can make a couple of Thanksgiving Day crafts. And then they're also partnering with the Rome Makers on the mitten and hat collection that is going on through the holiday season, and also with Toys for Tots with Adams Columbia Electric Co-op. And I know there's a number of drop locations for Toys for Tots here in the town.
I did have one other one, please.
Oh, go ahead.
The old-fashioned holiday craft fair is this weekend at the Rome Town Hall from 9 to 3. On Saturday with over 30 vendors with hand handcrafted items, a ticket raffle, lunch and bakery, and that's sponsored by the Roadmakers HCE and Adams County HCE. And the proceeds are used for the bookworms and scholarships for Adams County students. And there's a food pantry donation for you to enter, so you can bring canned goods and those sorts of things to enter. Thank you.
I have nothing, Jamie.
I had two items. One, we received a nice thank you letter from the Adams County Sheriff's Office for our donation to the K-9 program. So I can pass that around for you to read. The other one, which is an exciting piece, is that Adams County was selected for the community network with the rural partners. A couple meetings ago, I think I had shared, and Derek had shared at the, Derek Smith at the CDA meeting, that Rural Development for Wisconsin was partnering with the federal government to identify 3 sites within the state of Wisconsin where they would locate a individual that would help to facilitate municipalities and community groups, way in which they would facilitate through federal government programming and grants. And Adams County was selected as one of those areas. So it is going to be the Adams County Visionary Community Network, and the county manager, Cynthia Hager, has taken the lead on this and getting it organized. But we should expect that there'll be someone hired through Wisconsin Rural Development, either by the end of the year or slightly after the first of the year, that would be our facilitator through this process.
Thank you. Number 8, department and committee reports.
All included in the packet. If there were questions, we'd be happy to entertain them.
Yes, I have some. I'll be happy to start. My first one is for the administrator. Question on the band shell. You did in your presentation this evening tell us that we're going to be behind schedule now a little bit, and it won't be completed till the end of summer. Can you share with us, please, then an idea of what those realistic dates might be, and who is our general contractor on that project?
We did 5 bids on that contract, so Eagle Construction will actually do the structure. So I don't know that I would necessarily call them the general, but they would be the one that would be doing the structure. I would assume they'll start up right away in spring. I think that'll be weather dependent, and then we'll know better what that timeline would be for next year. As far as that completion date, I think it will kind of depend on when spring hits.
Okay, so there's not like a project manager that can provide us with a Gantt chart of completion dates of each step of the project, for project management goals, deadlines, anything like that?
If you would like something more specific, I'd be happy to provide it, but I think it would be somewhat dependent on when they can get started in the spring. So we could put something together that Eagle and the other contractors think is realistic, and then we can adjust it depending on when they can arrive and start work.
That would be great if we had some idea of like what money's been spent to date and what money's left to be spent and how much we need to acquire to finish up by next summer.
So the Van Shell and Pavilion project is funded. The next piece would be those other amenities.
But how much have we spent to date of that money and how much we need to collect yet from our, it's being held until we get to the next phases. Okay, and then the next question I have is for the Lester Public Library room, there's 2 seats coming up. I know Mr. Lindhoff is retired. Is the other person retiring as well, or?
They were extended out a letter and asked, and so I don't know the answer to that question, and they have until December 2nd to reply.
Great, okay, thank you. And then for the fire department, I was at the PFC meeting, so a question I have is, the chief's report included attendance at the Adams County MABUS meetings. Just a question regarding that, who is coordinating those efforts with building the MABUS interest down in Adams County?
My understanding is that it is the chiefs group, so there's 5 chiefs in Adams County.
Okay, and is it an effort by the Adams County Fire District as well? Are they involved in that?
That's my understanding, and all of the emergency services that would have separate cards within MABUS, we're extended out those cards and are working on putting those together.
As well as the dispatch center down there then? As well?
Yes, they have to obviously work in partnership with them because that's who pulls the cards.
Perfect, thank you very much. And then I also had a question, Sand Valley, still attending meetings at Sand Valley? If the hydrant's in and the signs are done, What are the meetings that he's attending?
I'm not sure what that specific meeting was that he was attending, other than maybe finalizing pieces with the well. I know that we talked about that we would get some signage that would be put up there too, so I can ask for clarification on something more specific if you like.
That would be great, thank you. And then I have one for Visit Rome. It said that Lisa informed the group that the $25,000 annual contribution has been dispersed to the town. Is Visit Rome giving us annual contributions for something?
There are five contributions for the band shell at $25,000.
All right, because it did say, okay, thank you very much. Then one for the Rome water utility, there's quite a few delinquent accounts that appears in here for the public fire protection. Is that more than we normally have, or it seems like there's quite a bit?
I would have to ask Robbie if that's more than usual. I mean, we do have delinquent accounts every year, and some of that is just because of non-payment, and some of that is just because of transfer of land, and when we've had this increased sale of land, sometimes that gets missed.
Because it's over almost $70,000, and we're looking at like 146 of delinquent accounts, and then another 806 of just public fire protection.
And that goes on tax bills, like, they will
Oh, I
process-
understand, but it just seems, and I don't know if it's hardship or if it's protest, or, it's curious just that it's so high this year, so.
And I don't know how it relates to previous years, but I can ask that to Robbie and let you know.
Okay, thank you. And those are my questions, thank you very much.
Any other information on department committees? Just a quick note on the lifestyle events, you mentioned at the end, the budget, 7 minutes and 22 seconds response time is amazing. Discuss and possible action on the following items. 9, discussion and action approval of the November 3rd, 2022 meeting minutes.
Move to approve the November 3, 2022 minutes.
I'll second. Discussion?
Yes, I have a question regarding the minutes for number 12 and 13. Number 12 is regarding the building inspector. There's some information, granted, again, minutes can't, do verbatim word for word, but I recall the building inspector asking to be recognized and providing additional information because the fees were questioned, and him verifying that we are the ones that actually establish our fee scale. So I think that needs to be duly noted in here because there was the entire conversation was based on his fees. So I think that needs to be recognized in these minutes. So I ask that, Madam Clerk, if you would please state in here somewhere, at least a sentence acknowledging that. The building inspector asked to be recognized. He was recognized and stated that the fees are established by the town. Because that's what this agenda item was all about, really was his fees. I assume that apparently since this is coming up again on December 1st, more discussion will take place at that time. And then on number 13, a draft proposed policy for the board to look at in December about the archive social. We did request that Administrator Gabert would work with Attorney Flanagan to draft a policy and explore best practices, not to reinvent the wheel, and to look at some analytics. Thank you.
Are they part of the motion?
So, just a clarity point. So, at this point, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes, I believe it's as presented. So the question would be, is Supervisor Minter and Chairman Hathel going to amend the motion?
I would amend to include Supervisor Giamotti's comments for your additions to the minutes.
I'll amend my motion as well. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 10, discussion of possible action Checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approved checks numbers 44678 through 44760 totaling $157,352.28. Auto payments totaling $63,698.36. State Social Security Medicare withholdings totaling $33,750.23. Payroll vouchers B19517 through B19633 totaling $87,059.37. And checks 21649 through 21650 totaling $1,918.65. Receipts numbers 23985 through 24084 totaling $354,821.20.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 11, discussion of possible action to approve one-time prior year carry forward of $29,500 for Police Department 2023 budget.
You just have to do this as a separate motion before approving the budget, because otherwise those funds cancel back to general. So we did something very similar to this last year when we did the purchase of the truck. Just needs to be a separate motion.
Motion to approve the prior year carry forward for the police department budget.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 12, discussion of possible action to approve the 2023 Town of Rome budget.
Move to approve the 2023 town budget as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor,
Yes,
please.
I have some comments I would like to make for the record, please.
Go ahead.
There are some things that I would like to state that I think did need some additional discussion. I understand I'm just one vote, but I would like to acknowledge that I believe we should have taken more money and more more discussion towards our roads. 4.65 miles of road is of great concern at the way they're deteriorating. I'm concerned about the type of work that's being done by the company we're currently using. It's not holding up. I've taken pictures, I've turned them in. I've asked about them. It's something we need to think about, making sure it's have been going up since spring, but we could have had talks earlier, but again, we can only do so much, but roads are a concern. And at the rate we're going and what we're doing, we've got, 143 miles of roads. At the rate we're going, 30 years, it's not going to be enough. My second comment would be is that I was concerned about a full-time public works person. I think we should have thought more about more part-time people in the summer and paying them more. And I think there's other personnel that we should have seriously thought about market adjustments and their wages, especially the part-time people in buildings and grounds, as well as library staff. But those are the comments I would like to make about our budget. And, but I think, other than that, I think some of our discussions were good, others could have been better, and those are my comments. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 13, discussion of possible action approval of recommendation from the Planning Commission on consideration of a site plan of operation for Suzanne Dollar Enterprises LLC for the property located at Section 17, Town 20 North, Range 06 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 0300090-0000.
Included in the packet was a memo from Emily along with the findings of fact that occurred at the Plan Commission meeting. I would note that the findings of fact to include that no outdoor storage would be on the site, that the site plan comply with the gateway overlay and signage ordinance, and that no human habitation or water be run to any of the individual storage units, excluding the office space that would be a part of this development. The two individuals, the two developers are here tonight. If you had any additional questions, and Nick, did you want to add some things?
I do. As was stated, this item was considered at the Plan Commission meeting. Just for the record, this item was held as a public hearing on November 8th of 2022, after which the recommendation was made to approve with conditions stated in the attached findings of fact. I would also note that the intended use of this is for storage rental buildings. Those are a conditional use in the B1 business district. And although conditional use permit approval is not something that's in front of you this evening, the reason I mention this is because I think it is related to what would be the plan of operation. So I think there's a couple things I'd like to include for your information before you would consider an approval. So the conditional use permit was approved. It did have an included condition that any covenants be provided and on file with the town prior to the building permit issuance. Related to that is, I believe the applicant had stated that they are exploring, at least at this time, the possibility of a condo plan. That's where that condition came in with the conditional use permit. So condo plan process is a fairly strict process under Chapter 703. Included in that is a number of condominium documents, one of which is that condo plan, the covenants. So I just wanted to explain kind of where that condition came in at the time of the conditional use permit, and it certainly does relate to the plan of operation, and so I felt it was relevant to provide you with background before you make a decision on this.
Why don't you guys stand up and tell us? Why don't you stand up and tell us a little bit?
Okay, I didn't bring the easels, but I do have some nice colored drawings, visuals. There's room for 95 units. There's 2 rows with an office in the front section. And, okay, thanks. Let me see. So, Peter Anderson is my name. I have a Remax office, and this $1,000, that's actually Leo Sauer, which owns that building there now. So it's a 10-acre parcel. We're splitting it in half and buying to sell 5 acres. That's what it is. Take this picture here. Where's my 4th picture? Okay, this one. Yep. Yeah, there's 2 rows right there. And so what the plan is these are condos. My business partner is in Colorado, who's also related to me, is doing it out there. And they're doing it all over the country. It's a different, my brother, Dave, by Window Storage Unlimited, does the regular storage units, where you rent month to month. These are where you buy them and you order them. So they're like 20 by 50s. The doors are 14 by 14. There's 1,000 square feet in each unit. And so that's where the condo association would come into play. So everything would be separate tax filter. It is if you do the math and if it works, it's a $9 million project. The units are about 95,000 average. Some are 89, some are 98. And so the plan behind it is that we would start out with this building number 1, which is 12 units. We have to pre-sell 6 of them. So if it moves, if we pre-sell 6 of them, then we can start the project and do the 12 units and then carry on forward from there. The other person that I mentioned is Al Wanzel, does it up there in Saratoga, where he takes a chunk of land. You can see up here in Highway 13 on the left there, to South Country Sports. There's a building there with like 2 units. So this one here will be gated. It's members only. The front section is intended to be like a clubhouse, office. This first unit, this one right here, this first garage will be kind of turned into a crib. So like a pool table and TVs and a kitchen in there. So if you're a member of it, then you can use those facilities as well.
But not sleep there.
No, it's not Tennessee.
Where is this? Is it address or something?
Well, 333 is at 335 Highway 13 South, so right where, I don't know if you're familiar with my Remax offices down here on the right. So it's that same driveway, but it's the property to the south.
Winter Home is right there. It's same,
Yeah.
right next to, just south of Winter Homes office.
Yeah, sure.
So it's visible from.
Highway 13.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of questions, please. It's a little bit different than what you described at Plan Commission, if you would.
Sure.
Now you're saying clubhouse,
Yeah.
pool table.
That's not different, Lori. We allow them to run water to the first unit. The first unit is part of the office.
Yes, I
It's part of
understand.
the clubhouse shared space. That's exactly what I understood at the plan commission.
I didn't hear him say pool table. Or clubhouse, so that just indicates something a little different to me, that's all.
Well, Lori, let me share this with you. I'm a business partner with Mr. Ramsden on another project, but I can honestly say, knowing this, oh, I'm sorry, sure. But knowing what this project is all about, we've discussed it, knowing his business plan and that, it would be a very solid business plan. It's not going to be a gathering spot for people outside to come and just shoot pool, drink, and things like that. None of that is going to be allowed. It's a clubhouse, as he said, for members only. They would utilize it from a business perspective and make it an asset to the town of Rome and how it would be planned.
I wasn't questioning that, I was just asking for clarification, because I didn't
Sure.
recall hearing pool tables or clubhouse, those are two terms.
Well, the reason I
And then the
added,
other question I just wanted to ask you was about the landscaping plan,
yeah,
because I didn't see
Yeah.
full landscaping there, and now, and then I'm looking at the drawing here,
yeah,
which I do believe I'm allowed to ask questions, that's why we're here tonight
sure,
again.
yeah, absolutely.
As a town board versus the plan commission, so
Yeah.
I'm just asking for further
Sure,
clarification.
no problem.
That's all.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem,
you.
no problem.
Since it's a condo, are you gonna have something like an HOA in there?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm sorry, no.
and then, it won't allow people to be, like, conduct any kind of business out of any of the units?
That's not the plan, no.
Not planned, but is it restricted?
Well, yeah, it's restricted. Yeah. You know, we don't, I can't, like, somebody buying it, I can't, focus it. Like, they might come before you and ask that. But we're selling them as storage units.
I mean, if the business has storage. needs,
Yeah, if they got storage, yeah.
You don't want
But
to
not,
hang a sign there,
not, no,
working on cars, and
No.
that, so.
no.
Can I add just something, because it's been mentioned, I think, by the applicant, and was a question by you, Chairman. I would argue that you could place that restriction on those condominium documents, in fact, by placing a restricted covenant on the ability to use those for business purposes. So in the event that the town wanted to place that as a condition on their approval, they could. So I do think that you would have some ability to do that through the Chapter 703 process.
And that was going to be another question, thank you, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I didn't recall hearing the other night again either, and I heard it tonight about covenants, unless I missed it, because there was a lot of conversation going on, so covenants, unless I missed it, is something newer tonight, or
No.
did I miss it? I'm sorry, I apologize.
And let me clarify, because I mentioned it, and I didn't mean to confuse this, and so my lead into that was that there was that conditional use permit process as well. The conditional use permit was approved
Right,
at the plan commission. There were some conditions put on,
right,
2 conditions. One was the same outdoor storage limitation. The other one was that any covenants, because I think it was mentioned, they were exploring a condominium. So any,
exploring.
yep, I think that was.
Well, that was the plan from,
Yeah, but I think you said that if it didn't work out, you would.
Well,
If it didn't
well,
work
if-
out,
if
you
that-
go regular storage.
yeah,
That's-
if you, well, there's like 5, okay, like if you didn't approve it, then I didn't want to buy the land, but if I went through and bought the land, and you did approve it, then I would, and this concept didn't work, then I would do normal storage. But there's also, you know, we have no idea if this will work in this market. I have no idea. And I'm not gonna invest, you know, they're $1 million to build it, so I'm not gonna put $1 million out and then say, oh, there's no buyers. So I need to, And if it doesn't work, then I need to go with game plan B or C or D, which I would then come back and redo the whole process again, so.
Right, so that's where the whole, my comment about exploring, I think that was exactly what you said at the plan commission meeting.
Yeah,
That's when I'm using exploring, that was because you mentioned plan B and C.
yeah,
And so I didn't mean that in any way, you know, to be dismissive of the ability to do a condo plan. Certainly that's something that a number of storage unit projects are doing around the country, absolutely. You'd be following that chapter 703, so there is a condo plat, condominium documents. One of the conditions, again, just to bring that back to the question that was asked me to make sure we're clear, one of the conditions, the conditional use permit, which authorizes your use as a storage unit facility, is to put any covenants on file before any building permit is issued.
and we got a couple, so you said that's submitted.
There is a potential then though, if you wouldn't pre-sell 6 units,
Yeah,
that the project wouldn't have.
that's right.
I have a question for Nick. Have we had instances before where we have requested to have the covenants before we proceed with, or have, before we would proceed with the approval of the recommendation?
Yes, in a somewhat different fashion. We did that with, I believe, Sand Valley was asking for certain release. They were going to do a condominium development, as I recall. We held on that until we got the condominium documents, declaration, covenants, all of that, so we could review that prior to the board feeling comfortable to release that. Again, very different scenario than what we're talking about here in that respect, but you asked me if we've ever done it, the answer is yes. In that case, we did hold on any decision until we received those documents.
Mr. Ramsey, this looks like a beautiful storage facility, and I think you sound like you're a solid businessman. My question is more to the board in general, maybe to the planning commission. Is this the look we want for the town? People drive in our Gateway District on Highway 13 to see storage units. We already have that on Highway D near Quick Trip, where we have quite a few storage units. We have New Gold Farm, which is storage units. There's obviously a need for storage units, but do we want them on our main gateway every time? It looks like it's already, planning commission maybe already has decided it's yes, maybe we do, we don't mind them. But to me, that's just an overall question of the vision of the town of Rome. It's growing, the land's going to be in demand. Is this what we want people to see when we drive through? That's just me, and I'm not answering the question for you, we're suggesting an answer. I mean, I know what my answer is, but I'm just wondering what the town's perspective is on that.
However,
If I might, I appreciate the comment, and that was my concern at plan commission, and I was the only nay vote. It is a beautiful project, and as you know, that's what I brought up. And that is a part of the vision for the Gateway District, which that language is clearly stated in our Gateway overlay information. The other question I would have is how close is this now to our tunnel project that we'll be speaking about again, Lake the Lakes, on Tuesday? And you sound like very good businessmen, and I know you are, and I don't know you that well, but I'm sure you are as well if you're teaming up with Barry. And so, I mean, I commend you on that project, and it sounds like you may be taking a risk. I mean, and good for you that you can. I don't know that that's an ideal spot for it. I'm sure there's maybe other land that you could find, but this is the overall look we want for our town, and that was, you know, why I stated you were at Plan Commission. Great project. I thank you for those boards. I wish more people would present their projects like that. Better than
The boards are $2,500.
I know they are. I know they are. So I commend you on that. It's better than drawing
I
a
have
carbon
like
napkin.
5,000 just in this process, right?
That's great. But again,
But I don't like throwing 5,000 around.
well, I know you don't,
You
but
know.
again, we're a town that's growing, and
Sure.
as you know, we have $1 billion valuation. We have
Yep.
to look down the
And
road, how we will look
I
in the
support
future.
them. I live here, I support it. To be honest with you, I came here before to sell sheds up there. And there was a ruling on the way, how far the sheds were back, and we went through that whole change. The sheds were way pushed back, and the guy next door, you know, I mean, you take a look at next door, and you see boat docks all over.
Well,
Is that a gateway too? I mean,
yes,
I
it
live here
is.
too.
yes, it
you
is.
know,
You're
And his
absolutely
was
right.
way back in the woods, and I just think that's a whole misfit, you know?
Okay, point of clarification, the gateway overlay has to do with building standards, not the type of businesses within the gateway overlay.
That's correct. And it's 200 feet from the center line.
And this isn't a conditional use permit we're considering, this is a permitted use of the property that's there. So if nobody wanted that to be there, there's been plenty of opportunity over the years to prevent that from happening.
It says right in there though, no big box, no big box.
It's not a big box.
Well,
I should be concerned too. I was thinking about the storage units, however, I did the research, we'll see where you're at, and went through and legally, it's a commercial property without restrictions, as Dan mentioned, so.
Thank you. It's hard not to put a project together.
I did notice too,
You already got rules, you know.
vegetation in the front, you do plan on putting it up there.
Yeah.
And then the project would have to comply with gateway overlay as listed, so it would have to, that the landscaping plan would have to match. In addition, I know we talked at the plan commission about the frontage of the buildings, having that 50% stone, which we were in agreement with. Or other material.
So, any other questions, discussion? Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion, based on recommendation of the planning commission to approve the site plan and plan of operation for $1,000 enterprise.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I would just like to comment, I think it's a great project. I just, based on previous involvement in other strategic planning and what we have written down in other documents and comments made by citizens and what we discussed at plan commission, I have to vote no.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. If it doesn't work, we'll leave that.
Number 14, discussion of possible action, approval of recommendation from the planning commission on proposed planned unit development project plan amendment relating to property owned by Wisconsin Dunes LLC, Sand Valley Golf Resort. Revision to clarify the density of development within subdivisions.
So the PUD plan was included in your packet. Just want to note that the item that's being considered tonight is the item that's highlighted on the special residential area page. We did ask for them to further clarify when all of the revisions were made, so you're going to see all of the revisions in this PUD plan and when the dates of when they were made, but the item that's being specifically addressed is that highlighted item concerning the density of development. Nick, do you have some?
I do. Just similar comments to the last item, just that this did get brought as a public hearing at the November 8th, 2022 Plan Commission meeting, after which the approval was received from the Plan Commission to recommend, approval of the PUD project plan amendment. Just to clarify, what that highlighted area is doing is actually clarifying levels of development density. So specifically, in those subdivision lots where they have greater than one residence per lot versus a limitation of one residence per lot. So actually what they're doing here is adding some clarification to their project plan to specifically address density expectations on lots by certain lot sizes.
When they put lots, two residences on one lot, do you have any are they change that, or what do they do with that?
Yeah, so it's very similar, I think, in that language to what Rigo is doing. It's allowing a second home, usually I think it's a little bit smaller of a home, I think, to some of those lots where the lot size
ownership and all that, or, okay.
Yep, same ownership. And really this came about because zoning administrator was approached to actually do that in some of the properties that would be subject to this community plan. As we reviewed the project plan, we felt that it wasn't clear that it would allow for that extra residence to be constructed on the lot. So in order to be consistent and clear with the project plan, it was the recommendation that they go through an amendment if they were to request doing that, so it was clear from the town that we were authorizing that to happen and understanding that to be the fact in the project plan.
So any lot larger than 1 acre can have 2 buildings?
Yeah, I don't know that everyone's going to, but it could, yep.
I believe Coco, plan commissioners can help me, I believe Coco said that that secondary home cannot be larger than 2 bedroom.
2-bedroom, 2-bath, and the house footprint is 2,500 square feet.
Yeah, I think she
But
said,
there's no lot smaller than, what, 5 acres? I think the smallest lot.
There are several lots smaller than an acre in the original Sand Valley development, which this PUD would include. In
1.68,
Sedge,
yeah.
yeah.
In Sedge.
In Sedge, those smallest ones are the ones that are by the tennis complex. Those are around an acre, and then the ones in Mammoth Conservancy are much larger.
and just to add to what Supervisor Damani said, I believe that limitation, when Coco had referenced it, she said that was in the covenants. So that's a strict limitation that we have for the development. So we can be pretty clear unless something drastic was to change those covenants, that's a limitation that's in place as far as the size of that structure.
Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve the recommendation from the plan commission on the proposed plan unit development project plan amendment relating to the property owned by Wisconsin News LLC. Revision to clarify the density of development within the subdivisions.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 15, discussion of possible action, approval of proclamation number 22 to recognize and thank Romemakers Home and Community Education Organization for 50 years of service to the town.
And I would also mention they decorated the stage for this evening. It is for the craft fair on Saturday, but I should have mentioned that during the presentation, we have the Christmas
They did a nice job.
decorations from them.
Move to approve the proclamation recognizing Romemakers Home and Community Education Organization for their 50 years of service to the town of Rome.
I'm going to second this.
Any discussion?
Yes. My mother and many other ladies who are friends, many of them gone now, were founding members of this group. This is a very, very nice group. So thank you for all your years of dedicated service.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 16, the board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute Section 19.85, sub 1 sub C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for the purposes of town administrator evaluation and consideration of extension of the timeline for fire chief position educational requirements. Before you get into this, I'd just like to make mention that over the years, I've had many discussions with my management teams, and I do not appreciate meetings of less than an hour or better. Sometimes they stretch out to 2 or 3. I have asked this board that I would like this meeting to go tonight, and then on our next meeting, regardless of how many members are present, we go on an open discussion. This is important to the people involved, and I think we owe them that responsibility to give them the time to make sure that we all come to the right decisions, we come up with the right information. And the next one, we will look at the goals. This one, I'd like to talk about what we've done this last year. So that's my intent for this meeting.
Well, I would like to make a comment then. You added an additional thing on here tonight that says consideration of the extension of the timeline for the fire chief, and that was unexpected. And we have a board member that wasn't here for that the last time. So, and I understand what you're saying, and that we talked at the last meeting that everybody would be here on December 1st. So this was kind of all unexpected. I mean,
We don't-
Supervisor Bauerheit wouldn't be here.
We don't have to make decisions on either one. I don't intend to make decisions, but we just open discussions.
No.
And on the secondary one, it is only an update. I wanted to provide an update so the supervisors would know where we were at.
But Bauerheit wasn't here for the first one either. This is very.
All right, was here for the first one. Mr. Bowman was not.
Supervisor Bauer? Okay, well, this is just, go ahead and take the roll call vote and let's see how it works, but this is
Start,
just.
I'll take a roll call vote, starting to my right.
We need a motion first.
Make a motion.
Motion to enter closed session pursuant to stats 1985, sub 1, sub C.
I'll second. Take a roll call vote, starting to my
Can I
right.
ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
The purpose of our closed session tonight, from what you stated in your comments, is strictly to review the document that we've been provided by the administrator and then receive the update from the administrator on the chief game.
Yes.
We are not planning any decisions.
No.
But I'd also like to ask a question then.
We're on a roll call right now, so
But you
I vote
allowed
yes.
Supervisor,
You allowed me to ask a question, so.
Okay, go ahead. You're right.
I did send an email asking the question, and this document that we were provided was prepared at your direction, but nobody else's. So none of the other board members were involved.
I think that's the purpose of going into closed session, to have that conversation. If there are additional items that the board would like to see provided. I don't think that's a conversation that we have by email prior.
Yes, you had provided your information. I was hoping the board would come up with some of their own additional information. That's what this purpose is.
It's 7:30 at night. I don't understand why we couldn't have a special meeting just for her review and fire chief came.
We're right
That's all
on.
I'm asking for. This is a budget meeting night. It's a special meeting night.
You pushed it back. Last year we went to December because we were fighting for the EMS services. Typically, this should have been done in November or October. Prior year, I believe it was October.
It was December 16th, but I'm just.
But it was because we were fighting for EMS last year.
Couldn't we just have a special meeting one night just for her review and the fire chief?
Again, the update on that is brief. I just wanted to make sure that the supervisors were informed.
Supervisor?
I don't think we started with roll call.
We did.
We did, okay.
I just got,
I don't have a motion.
I have a motion and a second.
There's a motion and a second.
Roll call vote from my right.
Yes.
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 No.
We are in closed session.
So we will exit into the other room. I just, again, always like to remind that the mic and the camera will stay live in this room.
Bye-bye.
I did that when I moved from my office to the classroom every once in a while, I'm carrying a laptop in my arms, it's like 30 kids running up and down the hallway, it's like,
Going to have a.
no,
I mean it. You are our town attorney and something better staff here, because I can't get through the answer.
okay, she can't come. Well, we're
No,
gonna
no,
do,
no.
design report.
I don't know what else to do. I've gone to the state, the next step is the DA, and they're gonna say, take it to the town. What the hell am I supposed to do? And I don't wanna cry, I've got a job to do, and I can't get anything. This is bullshit.
7 to 6 when we were walking out of the room, Titans winning. But they were like on the 5-yard line, I think.
All right, number 17, the board reserves the right to enter into open session authorized by Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85 sub 2, to possibly take action in the closed session and continue with the agenda. Need a motion, please.
Move to return to open session.
Second. Roll call from my right, please.
Do we need a roll call?
Yes.
Goldman, yes.
Yes, please.
Winter, yes.
Yes.
So we're back in open session. We have nothing to go into.
No action from closed session.
Number 18, next agenda items. Nothing at the moment.
No,
Supervisor Matty has some.
she said J. Lori, when you look yourself, can I read mine off? So we would have wage approval for 2023, our annual resolution. We also have our 2023 fee schedule. We have an update on Russian timber. We remember Supervisor Barrow had asked for that a couple meetings ago, but we said we would delay it because our meetings would be long, so we'll have an update on Russian timber. The social media policy would come back for December 1st. And then we'll also have a side letter with the Wisconsin Professional Police Association. If you remember during budget, we would need to do a side letter for the addition of that officer. And we were gonna dual path that, and we do have that signed, so it has to come through for town board approval to get added to the police union contract. So,
Can you give us a copy of their contract too, where it states in there that we need that?
the side letter,
Yeah.
it would be any change to the agreement, right? So,
Sign letter.
yeah, any change to the agreement.
And then I would like, for that item that's coming up about the building inspector, that we have information to provide to the board for the discussion. Invoices, for at least maybe 3 or 4 of the months, like 2 of the busiest and maybe 2 of the slowest months of 2022 so far, for what the charges were to the people that took out permits versus the amount that Dan charged. Because we actually charge more, I mean, we set the rates, and then what Dan's rate, what he actually billed, and then what the 20% was that the town takes out on top of that for the counter services, for the paperwork, that sort of thing. So we can get a clear indication of what it is that Dan is actually making.
I plan on moving that to the January meeting. Anything else? Next meeting date and time?
December 1st, 5 o'clock, and we'll be back in our regular location.
A motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Meeting adjourned at 8:15.